is on your left. He is 7-1. Andrew Jessup also 7-1. And let the beatdowns commence.
So this is an interesting phenomenon. Magic is fun in spite of winning and losing being zero-sum. Every game's got a winner and a loser.
True.
Still, it creates fun. That means that there has to be cards responsible for creating fun. That it's fun to lose to the cards as well. That has to be part of it.
Yes.
Bonesaw, such a card.
Looks like Jessup is on a mulligan to 5 here against Quinn Kiefer, so this one might end pretty quick. There's a Smuggler's Copter. Pass that turn back over to Andrew, will Quinn. A Mountain and a Scrap Heap Scrounger. Not particularly good at blocking. Here's a land. Quinn with the Plains. This is the Toolcraft Exemplar. There's also a Weapons Trainer over there, another Copter, and I believe a Reckless Bushwhacker. Well, we're going to go training. Now we're going to go Coptering. And in for 3. Time for Quinn to draw and discard.
Not liking the odds of Jessup getting a 4th turn.
Well, if my opponent's discarding Smuggler's Copter, I'm not feeling particularly good.
Yeah, someone's playing the game short.
Yeah. Jessup will draw. Not messing around is Quinn Kiefer. Jessup, well, that thing can't block, so we're coming in.
Get that part of the turn out of the way.
Yeah, 17 all. It's an Aether Hub. Energy on the way. The follow-up is PNLR.
Okay, pretty solid to have 2 blockers here.
Yep.
It's a big deal.
Thopter on the way here for Andrew. Number 6 on our SCG Tour Player of the Year leaderboard. Falconwrath Gorger, another Copter. Looks like a land. Maybe. Maybe not. Quinn a little unsure. Going to play a land now.
So we can Smuggler's Copter here, and then Reckless Bushwhacker if he wants it. Or he can just sort of go 6 in the air, 6 in the air, rinse, repeat.
Here's Reckless Bushwhacker. Trigger on the stack. Use this to turn on the Copter. Use this to turn on the Copter. And now beatdowns. There will be triggers. Draw.
Ooh, Captain's Claws.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Discard. Draw. Another Weapons Trainer.
Less exciting.
Yeah.
Like discarding that one.
Let's take a look at Captain's Claws.
Oh, you don't know this one?
You know it better than I do.
Yep.
That's the way that you're excited.
Mm-hmm.
Equip creature gets +1/+0. Whenever a equip creature attacks, put a 1/1 white core. Okay. All right.
Pretty powerful if you're going wide anyway.
Yep. Also works well with Weapon Trainer.
Oh, yeah.
Also a 3rd artifact for the Exemplar, even though the Exemplar is going to bite the dust.
Also, it was a bit of a turd in Battle for Zendikar Sealed Leagues, but it still occasionally could kill you pretty quickly if your draw was slow or what happened. They happened to curve out on you. So it was an incredibly frustrating card to have exist.
Sometimes you got clawed out.
Yeah, but rarely because the card was really poor in that format. So usually you won, but the games you lost. See, that's a card that took happiness away.
It sounds like it took your happiness away.
Right. Well, yes.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
That's what I meant, obviously. I don't know why that needed a clarification.
Here comes the Scrounger. A Swamp here for Jessup. Let's see what he'll be following up with. He'll play a Smuggler's Copter. That'll be it for him. Quinn Kiefer will untap. He's at 14. Andrew Jessup at 9. The draw is a Plains. Claws.
Oh, yeah.
Turn on one Copter. Turn on another Copter. Time to equip the Claws. And Quinn would like to go to his attack step, if at all possible. clear for takeoff. There's a trigger. Draw and discard. There goes the plains. Draw and discard. There goes a mountain. What kind of blocks do we have? Yep, that one's going to get in too. We'll take a look at Weapons Trainer because Andrew's doing the same thing. Kind of digging what's going on here. Other creatures you control get +1/+0 as long as you control equipment, which
yeah, this design's a little bit on the awkward side because usually equipment matters. Cards care about this thing being equipped or a thing being equipped. You just need to have equipment in play.
There's your block from Jessup. There will be a trigger. Get the draw and discard. Fiery Temper about to bite the dust. Pay the madness cost. We'll take care of the copter that is equipped. These copters will trade. The 2 damage will come across. Because the creature doesn't actually have to be equipped, you just have to control equipment.
Right. Doesn't care about the thing. Yeah, now Jessup is, yeah. It's not intuitive that it works this way. So people get tripped off by that card pretty commonly the first time around.
And Quinn will follow up one final play, which is the 3-man inspector, generate a clue, and then pass the turn back over to Andrew Jessup. Jessup doing a decent job of stabilizing. I don't think he's in great shape, but
the issue is Quinn is now in a position to go wide. Captain's Claw is actually pretty well sized up against most of the threats that Jessup can block with, and Jessup is at 7 without that much pressure in play.
Hiya with the Scrounger. Thinking about trading. Nah, okay, just take
Yeah, I'm taking this one on the chin too if I'm in Kiefer's spot. Just keep going wide here and leverage the Weapons Trainer and the Captain's Claws and try to finish the game out. He's got a lot of life to play with still. And it's not like Jessup's deck is anywhere near as bursty as Kiefer's is.
There's an Incendiary Flow. And now there's a Scrounger. Pass the turn back. Time to draw. And sacrifice a clue, will Kiefer. Looks like another copy of Inspiring Vantage. Don't have a great look at the Declaration Stone. Okay, that'll play a little bit here with those Scroungers that Jessup's trying to steal this game with. There's the Vantage.
So he does have a lethal attack as things currently 4, 5. No, he is short. I was looking if he had lethal with the Captain's Claws and had to force a block with a Thopter. Does not appear to be the case.
Okay.
But he can just do this, which is make his attack, and then Declaration Stone all of Jessup's threats.
Sounds pretty good.
Probably win the next turn. And have, oh, he does not have Needle Spire. He just has his 2 copies of the Fast Lands.
Yeah, Inspiring Vantage. The Thopter looks like it's going to jump in front of the Reckless Bushwhacker.
Yep, seems like a pretty easy block there to make if you're in Jessup's spot.
Jessup will take 2. He'll fall down to 5. Declaration Stone's going to take care of the Scroungers. Jessup will be given 2 clues. But his best threat has just now been eliminated.
And again, the sizing in the matchup is really problematic for Jessup because with the Captain's Claws now in play. Because he's playing with just a bunch of removal spells and creatures that trade rather than can eat the threats that are being made. So Kiefer gets a lot of value out of Captain's Claws as the game keeps going on.
Jessup will sacrifice a clue to draw a card. Decisions. Does have a copy of Incendiary Flow in hand.
And Sorcery Speed removal also does not play all that well against Captain's Claws.
Yeah, not great. Not great.
I mean, if you can pin down all the threats, then it's a blank. But as long as Kiefer has anything to get the ball rolling again, you just end up in the same spot.
PNLR looking to stabilize. Pretty good draw. Pass the turn back. Kiefer will untap. The youngster will draw a card. It's a spell, just don't know which one. Two mana. Declaration Stone. Gonna go after Pia.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Now the 1/1 is back online along with the 1/1 core that's coming via the Captain's Clause being relevant as well.
Captain's Clause is going to go here on the 3-man Inspector.
Yeah, I like putting the +1/+1 on the, or the +1/+0 on the thing that Jessup can't trade with.
There's your trigger. Another attacker. There are your blocks. So 1, 2, 3 damage going to come across. Jessup going to fall down to 2.
I mean, if Jessup can find 2 removal spells or another copy of PNLR, for example, maybe he can play on, but he's drawing pretty thin at this point.
May have been on Licensed Disintegration.
Well, the problem is that he has 2 different 3-mana spells in his hand. Ideally, he would have a 3 and a 2.
Uh-huh. I think he's got a 2-mana spell. I think he has another Flow.
I thought it was Collective Brutality. If it's Incendiary Flow, okay, then he's stabilized with 2 clues in play.
Yep. On tap, let's go to Kiefer. I mean, Quinn's got a lot of good draws here, obviously.
Yep.
Drew a Mountain, though. That's not one of them. Gonna try to equip. Try to attack. Yeah, there's Unlicensed Disintegration. Quinn going to take 3. He's going to fall down to 8 now. Jessup trying to steal this one.
Hey, he's got the better of it right now.
Yeah.
2 clues in play.
He'll sack one of them. Draw a card. Picked up another Disintegration. It's always nice when your removal spell deals your opponent 3 points of damage.
Yep, especially with the race being pretty tight right now.
I think Jessup's going to play a Scrounger. Okay, so this is the risk. So I think he has a Disintegration hand. He could lose to a haste threat here.
Bushwhacker.
PNLR. That's not a haste threat, but it's still good.
Still quite good. I mean, it's 2 lethal creatures in play now. Because you can put the Captain's Claws on the Thopter.
Yep. Where to equip is the question. Probably just on the Thopter. Okay. Pass the turn back. We go over to Andrew Jessup. Again, we know he's got a removal spell in his hand. He'll draw a card.
He's definitely drawing live.
Oh, yeah.
But his 1 removal spell in hand right now, not enough to cover him. And the Scrounger can't block.
Yeah, that's certainly true.
The Unsolicited Disintegration, plus the Scrounger isn't lethal, so he still needs help.
He'll start here. Tough spot because you kind of want to block.
With Jessup having creatures in the graveyard and 2 lethal cards on the other side of the table, I think you got to let this go. It's risky, but if Jessup's hand's rolled up anyway, you're unlikely to win.
2 mana. So maybe it is time to sack the clue. All right.
Good sign for Kiefer.
Yep. Draw. I think Jessup was really hoping he'd block there.
Yeah, then he has another removal spell, and he's good to go.
Yeah.
But it looks like his hand is Fiery Temper and Unsolicited Disintegration, and that's just not enough to stop this, assuming that Kiefer doesn't do anything to move the equipment around.
Unlicensed Disintegration. Kiefer will draw. Another copy of the Claws. Gonna equip here on PNLR. And going to ask if we can go to attacks, 2 triggers, and now there's no getting out of for Andrew Jessup. As Quinn Kiefer is going to win game number 1 here over Andrew Jessup. White-red aggro up a game here over red-black aggro. 2 very, very aggressive decks. Not going to be a lot of blocking here, that's for sure.
Although there isn't going to be a lot of blocking. That said, the creatures in the matchup that can only block, I'm a little dubious of.
That can only block?
Or rather can only attack, that aren't able to block.
Sure, like the Scrounger and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense.
Just a little bit too easy for Kiefer to manage there in a number of respects. In spots where Jessup was behind, he could only attack and Kiefer could take the hits. Kiefer still had removal that could exile it, so it's not like Jessup got to do any of the graveyard shenanigans with it. And it wouldn't surprise me if those cards got cut pretty fast here.
Sideboard time. We'll take a look at each player's sideboard, see what they are working with. And we'll start with Andrew Jessup, who has 4 Reckless Bushwhackers of his own, 4 Weaver of Lightning, which is a great blocker, 2 Lightning Axe, 2 Chandra Torch of Defiance, 2 Magmatic Chasm, and a Collective Brutality.
Definitely love the Weaver of Lightnings and the Lightning Axe. And it wouldn't surprise me if Magmatic Chasm came in this matchup as well. A great way to close out the game if things bog down and Kiefer's almost all on the ground.
For Quinn, he's got 4 Gideon, Allies Zendikar, 3 Veteran Motorists, 2 Needle Spires, 2 Sky Sovereign Console Flagship, 2 Selfless Spirit, and 2 Fragmentize. So he can play a little bit of a longer game, but I don't know if he wants to do that here.
Fragmentize and Selfless Spirit seem pretty solid to me in the matchup, though if he's anticipating Weaver of Lightning, then that makes Selfless Spirit quite a bit worse, of course. Gideon can be okay in the matchup, but on the draw, it's really risky.
Not on the draw. On the play,
we talk about it. Yep.
But not so much on the draw. So those are the options there for both players. They will sideboard and shuffle up. Game number 2 here from Indianapolis, be underway here in just a second. But let's talk Liam Lonergan. Let's talk about our New Jersey Invitational champion who's headed to the Players' Championship. That means we got to talk about having his likeness on a card, and that is that very well done Elf Warrior token by Andrea Radek of StarCityGames.com. Congratulations to Liam Lonergan on his invitational win. We will see him at the Star City Game Center later this year. But I know a lot of people are wondering how you can get this Elf Warrior token. Unfortunately, we can tell you right now.
Well, if you participate in any of the Opens or Classics on the SCG Tour, when you register, you get one of these tokens. If you can't, place a website from StarCityGames.com, $5 or greater. That runs all the way through the Atlanta Invitational, so you have until December to place an order and get this token.
Congratulations again to our New Jersey Invitational champion, Liam Lonergan. Looking forward to see him play at the Players' Championship later this year. That's game number 2 between Ken Kiefer and Andrew Jessup about to be underway. Andrew Jessup getting in his 1.
You get the 1.
He gets his 1 pile shuffle. Patrick is a hawk on this sort of thing. We're going to learn a little bit more about Quinn Kiefer, the youngster, which I've been told wow, 11? 11? That is awesome. I did not know he was that young. Thought he was like 12, 13, maybe 14. All right, here we go. Wants to be a football player and a novelist, is currently writing his 2nd novel.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Caleb Scher wore his Team Lotus hoodie, and it fit, which is awesome. And he is currently in the 5th grade.
This one is great.
This is a great player slide. Well done, Nick Miller.
Yeah, this is one of the Quinn's facts about himself here. If these are non-ironic answers, that's great. And if these are ironic answers, that is also great. So A+ sense of humor regardless.
Guarantee Caleb Shearer fit in the hoodie. That's 100% legit.
Sure. In the 5th grade.
Yeah. In the 5th grade, 7-1 here at an Open, and currently a game away from being 8-1.
I'm happy. I'm looking forward to at some point when things settle down a little bit and some weekends off and all that kind of stuff. Hanging out with the Kiefers and playing some Magic because they're nearby now. I haven't really availed.
You're in Denver.
Right. I haven't really availed myself to the local scene. Don't know the stores that well. Wasn't able to make the Kaladesh pre-release, unfortunately. But now that there's a crew of people to game with that are pretty fun to hang out with, might try to mix it up a little bit more frequently. At least find a spot to draft, if nothing else.
Reasonable. Completely reasonable.
In the 5th grade. That's a great fact.
That is really good.
We'll have to update that one periodically.
In the 6th grade? Yeah. Just keep moving it on.
Yep.
Yeah, the Kiefers are having a really good tournament. You can actually see behind Quinn, I know there's a Team Card Hoarder member, and then on the other side of Andrew Jessup, one of the older Kiefers. Actually, yeah, it's a Kiefer. We're Kiefer flooded.
Yep.
Behind Quinn, there's a Kiefer, and then behind Andrew, there's a Kiefer. And then next to Andrew is where Jacob Baugh is playing. So not only are we Kiefer flooded, we're Team Card Hoarder flooded.
Yeah, a little flooded.
Yeah. Just
flooded out
everywhere.
just a little bit.
Yeah. Very awesome. Very awesome. Well, Andrew Jessup will be on the play here this game. Don't think his deck wants to take the draw.
No, not this matchup.
Just going to put that out there.
Although that game did kind of almost come down to a grindy card advantage.
A little bit.
If Jessup found one more removal spell, the fact that he had all those clues laying around and was able to gas back up would have been relevant. He was just one turn short of doing everything he needed to do.
Both players will take a look at the opener. Naturally, I love both of these decks.
Yes.
Just killing people fast. All I have interest in doing. Really hoping one of these will be my deck for the Pro Tour.
a pretty advanced line of thinking there from Quinn. I think a lot of players, particularly younger players, they get pretty risk adverse in spots, especially on camera. You know, what if I die right now?
Yep.
And the logic there is very simple. If Jessup's got a hand that kills me, I can't beat it anyway, so I might as well play around the hands that I can potentially beat, not block, and that's exactly what happened. If Kiefer blocks there on that final turn, I'm pretty sure he loses that game.
Toolcraft Exemplar there for Quinn. For Andrew, it's a Inventor's Apprentice. Here's a Scrap Heap Scrounger, which means that the Nerd Ape is now a 2/3, and it's coming into the red zone. To Quinn we go. We'll see if he can put an artifact together for the Toolcraft Exemplar. A Ding, the Smuggler's Copter, and now the Beatdowns. For 3, Jessup will fall down to 17. Of course, cannot block with the Scrounger, so now we head back over to Quinn Kiefer. Quinn will draw. Excuse me, Andrew will draw. My apologies. Lightning Axe. I'm questioning whether Andrew has red mana or not, given the start with the hub.
I think he's got a mountain in hand.
Okay.
The Jessups love the Ice Age basics.
What's Jim wearing off on them? Might be mandated by the team captain.
Right. Maybe they have official basic lands now. It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. If you don't play these, you're off the team.
Yeah, Jim runs a pretty tight ship. I wouldn't put it past him to have made official team basic lands.
That's right. A Pia Nalar, which brings a Thopter along with it. So it's a good start here for Andrew Jessup. 1, 2, 3. It's exactly where this red-black aggro deck wants to be.
These decks are a lot better at playing offense than defense.
Oh, you think so? Not really so good at blocking. Pinalars look pretty good on camera this weekend.
Yep.
We'll say that.
Innocuous, not overwhelming in any particular spot, but does quite a lot of good little things for 3 mana.
Yeah, I've been pretty impressed by this one. Thraven Inspector. Make a clue. Could go bushwhacking. Got a lot of options. Declaration in Stone. Take care of the Scrounger. Slow down the beatdowns a little bit.
And not a card he can really trade with long term, so I think Kiefer wants to exile there rather than try to block and manage it that way.
Makes sense. Does he want to try to attack?
I don't know. The Smuggler's Copter on defense is pretty sweet right now.
Oh, that's a no. Let's see what comes here on turn number 4 for Andrew Jessup. He's had a great start. Inventor's Apprentice into the Scrounger, which has now been made into a Clue, and then PNLR, jittering a Thopter along with herself.
You'd really prefer not to fade off the turn, though. You want to be applying a little bit of pressure here because these decks are so much more dangerous on offense. And your deck is not very well situated to block on the following turn because Kiefer has agency over whether or not he wants to use a Smuggler's Copter. His 1-drop might grow into something that you can't block the next turn. So even if the attacks look a little shaky, I think Jessup has a pretty big incentive to try to make it.
Beatdowns. Toolcraft Exemplar is going to try to animate the Copter. Lightning Axe. Discarding Fiery Temper. That cannot be Madness. Ouch.
Yeah.
That hurts.
Kiefer just instinctively put the Thraben Inspector in the graveyard.
Yeah.
But this is the first time I believe I've seen a Madness Fiery Temper not cast.
Yeah, which makes you wonder what's in Andrew Jessup's hand, too.
Well, if he can't Madness it, he also doesn't have double red to hard cast it, so it's just a dead card right now.
Well, Scrap Heap Scrounger. And if he discarded the Scrounger, he had no creature to get it back with.
Yep.
So.
Yep. It's ugly, but
yeah, it really is. Jeez.
it felt like there should have been something that worked there, but there wasn't anything that worked.
There's PNLR. Thopter on the way. Toolcraft Exemplar maybe want to attack here? Maybe. Yeah, it's going to come in for 3. Jessup will fall down to 14. Kiefer will pass the turn back over to Andrew. Andrew will draw in just a moment here. Andrew going to start lining up the creatures on the battlefield, see how he wants to attack.
Remember that Pia Noir can sacrifice artifacts to make things unable to block, and that Jessup has a clue.
Yeah, we'll take a look. We'll take a look at Pia really quick. There's a lot of text on this card.
Yep.
Of course, it does generate a Thopter when it enters the battlefield, but I think that's part of the reason that Andrew Jessup's attack might be taking a little while here, is we want to figure out exactly what the optimal line of play is. Now, when it enters the battlefield, she creates a 1/1 Thopter artifact creature token with flying. Target artifact creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn for a colorless and a red, which means it could be the Scrounger or the Thopter, and then sacrifice an artifact for a single mana. Target creature can't block this turn. You mentioned the Clue, which is an artifact.
And Jessup has 8 points of power in play, so he can force a block here, and because he can make something not block with the Clue if he's feeling so inclined, he can really force Quinn down a particular road if he wants it.
Incendiary Flow will take care of Pia. Now Jessup's going to figure out exactly how he wants to attack. It looks like they're all ready.
But Jessup also has an incentive here to not use the Clue if he doesn't need to, because he's going to present the same situation next turn and also get some points of damage in.
It might actually be better next turn, too. Looks like he's going to do it this turn, however. Going to sacrifice the Clue to Pia. Or at least he's thinking about it, given that he's tapped the Swamp and he's got the Clue in his hand. Going to make it so that the Thopter cannot block, valuing his Thopter in the air. And
Wants to preserve his artifact just so he can do this again next turn.
And Thraben Inspector has no good blocks to make.
Right. It's just a chump block.
Yep.
And he has a chump block because this is still lethal.
Decisions. Here for young Quinn Kiefer. Yep, there's the block. Going to take the least amount of damage that he can. Takes 5, falls down to 3. Time to untap and draw for Quinn. Can he steal it? He's got a Bushwhacker over there.
I mean, the coast is clear.
I actually think he needed to draw a land to win this turn. He drew Veteran Motorist.
So he's got 4 on the table. Bushwhacker gets him to 7 on the table.
3, 4, 5, 6.
No, 7, 8.
8.
Right.
Motorist makes it 12.
Yep.
Too short. Okay, there's Motorist. Maybe he can make it through the turn. Scry 2. Yeah, Bonesaw strategy.
Ooh. The plot thickens.
Weapons Trainer kind of involved there, too.
I think it's going to be hard to make it out of the turn because just so much lethal stuff.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty tough. 1 on top, 1 on bottom.
And it's not like he becomes more inclined to present lethal the following turns when he has to start chump blocking and trading and so forth. So, Mr. Looks like we'll have time to go to the backup.
Excuse
Maybe not.
Excuse me. I'm new at this whole thing. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
All right, Falconwrath Gorger. Oh, I love an attack. Got to chip away a little bit.
Got to let him know.
Yeah. All right, no attacks. Probably better not to, but I would have loved it. Jessup will draw. He's got a Scrappy Scrounger in hand. Can he cross the finish line?
Maybe not this turn, but I think he can force blocks painful enough that next turn he should be good to go.
Okay. Remember, any artifact that kind of comes through, Pia gets to pump up.
On top of that, he's got to manage. He's at 3, so he has to stop Scrap Heap Scrounger every single turn. And every single turn, it just comes back, assuming other trades are occurring. And if Quinn is just chump blocking, that doesn't work either. So,
And we're going to line up the creatures now. So yeah, what would the blocks be that Quinn has? What's optimal for me? What's optimal for him? How can I make this so that he doesn't really get another turn?
the thing is that the Kiefer's creatures all have so little toughness that it is probably safe for Jessup to just send in everything and see how it washes out.
Okay.
Because it's not like anything of his is going to get swallowed up on the way back. And anything on Kiefer's side that dies, well, that's the less resources he has to try to cobble together a kill with Reckless Bushwhacker, which is probably the only way that Kiefer can steal this game.
Yeah, see, but Jessup is doing some things here, like he's really valuing Pia pretty highly, it seems like.
I think with everything on Kiefer's side having 1 toughness, this is just too sweet of an attack.
Just kind of the best he can do.
Yeah, if you tear up his board here, then it doesn't really matter. You can do it again next turn. And the fact that Kiefer is on 3 specifically facing these Scrap Heap Scroungers means that it's going to be hard for him to long term to manage this no matter what.
All right, there are the blocks. Whole bunch of trades except for the Scrounger, I think, is the only one that doesn't die. Yeah. So there goes Kiefer's entire board.
Yep. I know Jessup looked there to see maybe there was something better to do, but this seems awesome to me.
Clear up everything. He's still at a really high life total, too.
Yep.
Another Scrounger makes this even harder. I think I like playing the land just in case one Scrounger were to die. The fate here is Declaration in Stone.
That's another reason to play the land. At least
Absolutely.
you're ramping up with the clue straight away.
Yep. Weapons Trainer the draw. There is the Weapons Trainer. And Bushwhacker. So blockers. Jessup will draw. Yep, trade. Scroungers win in this type of thing, though. There's a land pass turn back. Go over to Quinn. Sack a clue, draw a card. Got a captain's clause, pass the turn back. Maybe he won't see it. Unfortunately, he will. Get the Scrounger back. Untap, draw, attack. Game over. Andrew Jessup going to tie things up here against Quinn Kiefer. White, red aggro, red, black aggro, getting ready here for G3.
Being on the play feels like a big deal here.
Yeah.
So many of the cards in these decks are either implicitly or explicitly only good on your own turn or only good when you're attacking. And, you know, we saw Jessup there in the first game have a Scrap Heap Scrounger that was really bad. He was never in a position to really leverage it. That game, you know, the last card that Kiefer plays was a Captain's Clause with no creatures in play, another card that's only good on the front foot. So being on the play, a huge deal. Also kind of interesting that now Declaration and Stone, this matchup, or these kind of matchups, is not just a freebie. It's not kill your thing and somewhere down the road maybe you get a card. The fact that there's an artifact in play is a huge deal.
For both sides.
Yes, and Jessup was able to capitalize on it by making things unable to block with PNLR.
Jessup's on the draw now this game, so maybe a Weaver.
I think Weaver becomes more attractive.
Okay.
And I think that Scrap Heap Scrounger becomes more dubious. It's possible that card's powerful enough that it kind of doesn't matter, that Jessup feels it's too integral to the strategy. But if Kiefer has a good draw on the play, about the last card you want to see is Scrap Heap Scrounger.
All right. Game 3 going to be underway here. Looks like they're already going to start shuffling and get ready. So we'll talk about our creature collection here with Star City Games very quickly. I know it's very popular. People love the goofy things that we do for sleeves, play mats, and player bundles. And we start off with the pin that we're wearing, Old Hedgehog.
Yeah, this is the October game night. Also available via our creature collection right now on playmats, sleeves, and player bundles. Head over to go.starcitygames.com/creature collection to get your items today, or head over to the dealer booth at any of the SCG Tour events or Grand Prix Atlanta coming up.
And if you don't like any of our cute parodies, well, then you have to deal with our regular cute stuff, no parodies.
Ferret.
Yeah.
No, there's no joke here.
No. Just hanging out, wearing sweaters, probably
How
destroying
many
your laundry.
ferrets are there in Magic? There's Joven's ferrets. That's one.
You would know this.
Ferret check. How many are there? Not that many, I believe. Joven's ferret's the only one that comes to mind.
A quick ferret judge call. Go to StarCityGames.com/creature collection. Game number 3 about to be underway here. I know you're checking for ferrets, so I will talk about Andrew Jessup a little bit here since he's headed to the Players' Championship. We're going to see more of number 6 on our SCG Tour Player of the Year leaderboard. Pretty young, actually, is Andrew. Only 20, not as young as Quinn, given that Quinn is 11. But Andrew would be considered a young Magic player, is the member of TeamMetaGameGurus.com. 5 open top 8, still looking for that win. He has 3 finals losses. He's in pretty good shape here this weekend. It'd be a pretty big win for him to go into day number 2 at 8-1.
Yes, it would. So Joven's ferrets, kind of the opposite, not quite a cycle, but sort of the opposite design of Folka Van Hava. Get into it in a little bit.
That's the only one?
What do you mean? I didn't. I just looked for Joven's ferrets.
Oh, you just looked for this?
Yep. Look at him, up to no good.
Just hanging out. But we know the real thing.
Yeah, when they're attackers, they're 1/3s, and if it is blocked, it taps and locks down the thing that blocked it. So you can take one or have your creature be frozen for a turn.
Andrew Jessup has started things off with an Inventor's Apprentice and a Smuggler's Copter, attacked Quinn for 2. Quinn played a Weapons Trainer after playing the Copter, so now Quinn is attacking for 3. He's going to discard an additional copy of the Copter. And does he have a 3rd land to play? Looks like he does with a Mountain, and simply going to pass the turn back over to Jessup. A lot of copies of Declaration in Stone over there for Quinn Kiefer, as Jessup will draw a card for the turn. Fiery Temper.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good one to discard.
And I think this is the reason that if you just want the best Smuggler's Copter deck, I would do something closer to what Jessup is doing than something closer to what Kiefer is doing. Because he has more artifact synergies and he has Fiery Temper, really taking advantage of this card in a way that Kiefer isn't quite doing. Still plenty good in Kiefer's deck, don't get me wrong, but I think Jessup is doing more work with it here.
Looks like not. So immediately I thought of ferrets. I thought Nimble Mongoose, but that doesn't count.
No, it's a Mongoose.
That's a Mongoose. It's basically cheating. These games, from a turn standpoint, don't go particularly long, but the turns are difficult.
Yes. I mean, it's a lot of combat tricks, there's a lot of combat math. Except they're souped up games. So one mistake and you just kind of die.
Let's see what this will be. All right, Bomat Courier. That is going to get in the chopper. And here's an attack plus a loot. Time for Andrew to draw and discard. Now, he drew a copy of Unlicensed Disintegration. He's going to discard. Ooh. Copy of Unlicensed Disintegration. Interesting. Mountain. Pass it over.
Somewhat surprising as that felt like a great spot for Fiery Temper.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised. He's up to something.
I mean, maybe he really wants to snag the Copter rather than the Weapons Trainer, but he's so far ahead at this point that killing the Weapons Trainer seems great too.
Yeah. Attack step? Nope.
Now, if he has Lightning Axe, never mind. Okay, yep, this is fine.
That answers that. Axe plus Temper. Kill both your creatures.
And this is really the first time in any of these games where someone has shown the capacity to break serve on the draw.
Yeah.
And 2 1-mana terminates. Good way to do it.
Not the worst way.
And now Jessup is empty-handed or close to it, so the Bomat Courier.
Could be about that now.
Oh, yeah.
Fragmentize is going to take care of the Copter. But now the Courier starts to get to work a little bit here. Jessup will untap, draw a card. I think the only thing right now Andrew's missing is black mana. Here he comes. Get the exile card for the Courier. It'll be an attack there for 3. The big follow-up, if it's P, it's good. It's still pretty good.
Yep.
Weaver of Lightning plus black mana, pass the turn back.
Very good against Captain's Claws in a number of respects.
Yeah. Quinn's in some trouble now. Here's a Thraben Inspector. That'll make a clue along with it, so long as he does remember the trigger. Equip the Captain's Clause. Declaration in Stone here, too. I think Quinn may have been prompted to make a play here. I'm not quite sure which of these you deck in Stone. Probably the Courier?
They all kind of stink.
Yeah.
Is the problem.
Yeah.
They all matter, but they all stink.
Yep.
They're almost all about the same power level as a clue. This is, makes using Declaration still a little rough.
You pick. Which one do you want?
Yeah,
me to
whichever.
kill?
I just.
Yeah. Looks like Jessup will sacrifice the clue. Draw a card. Lightning Axe, Swamp, Unlicensed Disintegration in hand. Yeah, gonna kill that. Kiefer gonna fall down to 7 because he does control an artifact in the Bomat Courier. Now he's gonna take 2 more. It's funny, the Weaver of Lightning, for a little while I thought it had Defender.
Yeah.
It has Reach.
Yep.
So it's just really good in a matter of respects. It can be an attacker on occasion. The text is relevant. Here's a Weapons Trainer. Declaration in Stone will take care of the Bomat Courier. All right. Jessup doesn't have a ton going on. I know he's got a Lightning Axe in his hand.
But now a clue.
Yeah.
Turns off any artifact synergies, plus it's just another card.
True. He's got to sacrifice this clue to draw a card. Looks like he might have to slow down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he can Lightning Axe it straight away.
And get in for 1.
Right.
Ugh.
Kind of mediocre. The problem is that the Weapons Trainer is going to kind of force the issue next turn anyway because it's going to be large enough just to attack through the Weaver of Lightning.
It's true. So in that respect, you probably do just kill it and get in your 1 point of damage.
I mean, getting Kiefer down to 4 is relevant. If he bricks on his draw, then he goes to 3, and then you have a lot of sources of 3 damage in the deck.
True.
I know it looks kind of this looks mopey, but I think a point of damage is worth a lot to Jessup this turn, and I think his hand is forced to just do this anyway next turn. So just get on with it.
All right, well that's exactly what he did. Kiefer will draw. Exemplar, equip, pass. Still 1 toughness creature right now, though.
Yep. Any spell answers this, but if Jessup's got nothing going on, Kiefer gets a little bit going.
All right, here's 1. Quinn down to 3. Jessup has a Inventor's Apprentice, a 1/2 right now.
Something that at least checks the core made off the Captain's Clause.
Here's an attack. This one we attack for 4. Block there. Okay. Jessup going to fall down to 13. What's the draw here? The Gorger. Not great. Yep, Fire Temper will do just fine. And Andrew Jessup's going to win this match over Quinn Kiefer 2-1. Red-black aggro is going to take care of white-red aggro. For Andrew Jessup, he's going to move on 8-1. Quinn Kiefer will fall down to 7-2. But we will see both of them back here tomorrow.
Great day for both competitors.
Yeah.
And you saw there, I think, having Lightning Axe plus Fiery Temper, having the ability to break serve, to have super efficient mana turns in a way that Kiefer doesn't really. Pretty big edge in the matchup there. Had to wait till we got to game 3 to really see it happen. But just being able to break serve on the draw, a huge deal there in a matchup where it seemed largely defined by who was on the play.